You know, for every physician who runs their own practice, this quote from the National Academy of Medicine, it probably hits really close to home. It just perfectly nails that feeling that the workday is never, ever truly over. And honestly, it's right at the heart of this huge challenge we're going to unpack today.
All right, so let's get right into it. We're calling this the 1.2 FTE problem, and we've put this guide together to help your practice find its way through the new, and let's be real, pretty tough billing landscape. We're going to go from what's causing the problem all the way to some real, tangible solutions.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll define that invisible second shift so many of you are working. Then, we'll dive into the financial nightmare of claim denials and the tech arms race that's making it all worse. But then, we pivot to solutions. We're talking about the tools you can use today, the revolution that's coming tomorrow, and most importantly, how all of this leads back to reclaiming your time.
Okay, so what exactly is this 1.2 FTE problem? Well, think of it like this. You're hired for a full-time 1.0 FTE, a full-time equivalent, clinical job. But the reality? You're also working a constant, invisible second shift of admin work that pushes your actual workload to 1.2 FTEs, or maybe even more.
Yeah, this second shift, it actually has a name. Pajama time. You know what I'm talking about. It's all that unpaid after-hours work, usually you, your laptop, and the EHR at the kitchen table. And the crazy part is, it's become so common we just think it's normal. But it's a huge symptom of this completely unsustainable workload. And look, this isn't just a hunch. We've got the data. Research shows that primary care clinicians spend a median of 108 minutes, that's almost 2 hours, every single day on pajama time. Just think about what that adds up to by the end of the week. It's nuts. Now hang on, because it gets worse. Add another 144 minutes, that's nearly 2.5 hours, just wrestling with the in-basket. So when you put the pajama time and the in-basket together, you're looking at over 4 hours of admin work every single day, on top of actually seeing patients. And this is where it just becomes impossible. A jaw-dropping 70% of physicians say they work while they're on vacation. I mean, when your time off is really just a chance to catch up on charts and messages, it's not time off at all, is it? It's just working from a different location. And that is a one-way ticket to burnout. Okay, so let's pivot. We've talked about the personal cost, the burnout, but let's talk about the cost to your practice's bottom line. This admin burden isn't just wearing you out, it's fueling what we're calling the denial crisis, and it's a direct threat to the financial health of your clinic.
Just take a look at the trend. Denial rates are climbing, and they're not slowing down. We're up from about 10% just a couple years ago to almost 12% today. And you know, for some practices, that number's way higher, closer to 20%. This isn't a small thing. It's a serious and growing hole in your revenue. And you know, beyond the lost revenue from the denial itself, there's a sneaky hidden cost. It actually costs your practice between $25 and $30 in your staff's time and resources just to rework one single claim. Now multiply that by hundreds, maybe thousands of denials a year, the financial drain is just massive.
So you're probably asking, why? Why is this getting so much harder? Well, one group, the Venali group, puts it perfectly. They call it a technological arms race. On one side, you've got the payers, the insurance companies with all the sophisticated tech. And on the other side, you have providers, your practice, often just trying to keep your head above water.
I mean, this slide just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? The payers are using advanced AI that can scan and reject a claim in milliseconds. Meanwhile, your practice is fighting more paperwork, rising staff costs, and using workflows that were not designed for this kind of fight. You're being technologically outgunned.
Okay, I know that sounds pretty bleak, but here's the good news. This is where the story turns. You have strategic choices. So let's talk about how you can actually equip your practice with the right tools that are available right now to start fighting back.
Look, AI isn't some futuristic sci-fi concept anymore. It's a practical, everyday tool. Just imagine a system that automatically scrubs your claims for errors before you even hit send. One that predicts which claims are likely to get denied so you can fix them up front. And the best part? Thanks to cloud-based models, this kind of tech is finally affordable and accessible for smaller practices, not just the giant hospital systems.
Now let's just talk brass tacks. Let's look at the numbers. If you're managing billing in-house, you've got a fixed cost somewhere between $8 and $12 for every claim. But when you strategically outsource to a partner that has this tech, that cost plummets to just $3 to $5. This isn't just about saving a few bucks. It's about changing a fixed cost into a variable one that actually scales with your business.
So we've covered the tools for today, but what's coming next? What's on the horizon? Well, the next giant leap is something called quantum computing. And believe me, it's not just a small step forward. It's a potential revolution for this entire field.
Now, don't worry, we're not going to get too deep into a physics here. But to get quantum, you have to understand the qubit. A regular computer bit is simple, right? It's either a 0 or a 1. Think of it like a coin lying flat on a table. It's either heads or tails. A qubit, though, can be both 0 times and 1 at the same time. It's like a coin that's still spinning in the air. This ability to be in multiple states at once is what gives it such incredible processing power.
And then there's this other wild idea called entanglement. It's, kind of mind-bending. Imagine you have two magic coins that are linked together. No matter how far apart they are, even across the galaxy, if you check one and it lands on heads, you instantly know the other one landed on tails. It's this weird, spooky connection that lets quantum computers see patterns that are totally invisible to regular computers.
So, spinning coins, magic, what does this actually do for your practice, right? That's the important part. Well, first, we're talking about incredible speed. Quantum algorithms can search for things like fraud patterns exponentially faster than any system we have today. Second, they can find the absolute best solution to super complex problems, like how to batch your claims perfectly to avoid denials. And the results could be huge. We're talking about a jump in fraud detection accuracy to 90% and cutting down processing time by as much as 70%.
And that brings us right back around to where we started. We began by talking about the crushing burden of that 1.2 FTE problem. So now, let's connect all these tech breakthroughs back to the one thing that matters most: your time.
This right here is the main takeaway. The whole point of AI, of outsourcing, of quantum computing, it isn't just to make your billing department a little more efficient. The real goal is to systematically take apart the administrative overload that creates pajama time and burnout in the first place.
So here's your playbook, your path to a sustainable practice. Right now, today, you can bring in AI and smart outsourcing to get a handle on denials. In the near future, you can use predictive tools to stop revenue leakage before it even happens. And then, on the horizon, quantum computing offers the chance to solve these headaches at their absolute core. Because, at the end of the day, this whole conversation isn't really about technology at all. It's about creating a system where the business of medicine doesn't constantly get in the way of the practice of medicine. It's about giving you, the physician, the time and the focus to do what you were meant to do: care for your patients.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. After seeing the tools we have today and the revolution that's on its way, what would it mean for your practice, for your life, if technology could finally solve this 1.2 FTE problem for good?